Hello and welcome back to Trash It. Relationships are tough to handle and long distance relationships are indeed extremely tough. But before we go into it, Trash It, we've been unveiling virgins of late. So we've got two virgins on the show today. New to Trash It, we've got Yomi. Hi, Yomi.
Hello. Hi.
We've got Damola.
Hello, everyone.
Hi. And obviously, most beautiful, Celia, in all our glory.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, you are very important, and Celia as well, to the topic we're going to be discussing today, because, we're going to be talking about long-distance relationship. Longing can be such sweet and sorrow, and sometimes sorrow can outweigh the sweet, and then you have a heartache. And these are one of the reasons why people don't actually want to go into long-distance relationships. So I'm going to revert to you, Damola and Yomi and Celia a bit, because I know she had a long-distance relationship with her husband, or cutting with her husband before you guys relocated to the UK. So, Yomi, starting with you, talk about you being in a long-distance. How long have you been married, first and foremost? How long a part of that marriage has been long-distance? And how have you coped?
Well, I got married in 2007, sorry. And we've been living apart ever since.
Wow.
It's been really challenging. It takes a lot of commitment, a lot of communication. You have to keep the communication going, whichever way you want, you want that to be, whichever form. Video calls, make use of social media, the technologies around, just keep the communication going. I think that is the key thing about long distance relationship, and it takes a lot of tolerance. You have to be able to be tolerant, because there'll be a lot of friction as a result of being apart. So you have to be able to tolerate each other, whichever way. I think that those are the three things I would, really talk about in terms of, a long distance relationship.
Can I
And
ask
loyalty.
And
loyalty.
We'll
and
get to
trust.
that. Okay.
And trust.
This is more than three now. She said
know,
three.
it's coming
This is
out.
more than three.
Yes.
But Yomi, did you guys plan right from the onset that it's going to be a
No,
long
it
distance?
just happened. We didn't, obviously, it just happened, but we've made the best use of our situation, and we've continued that way. So yeah, it's not been too bad. Like I said, those things that I've mentioned are the base of what a long distance relationship needs to maintain that relationship required between a husband and a wife.
Damola, how long have you been married, and was long distance relationship what you envisaged it's what it is going to be?
Oh, well, so I've been married for 3 years plus, and I never actually planned out to have a long distance marriage, but there's kind of been a pattern to it. I mean, the few relationships I've been in has been long distance relationships, but eventually when I got married, I never wanted to have a long distance marriage, but it is what it is. It turned out to be that way. We had plans to live together shortly after we got married, but then, me being who I am, and I'm thankful that I have a wife that, she understands. Of course, I came up with counter plans, or things changed around. When we got married, we had a few plans put in place, and then we planned around certain metrics that really changed significantly. And I thought, let's just move this thing. And so we just kept moving it. And what can I say? It's been extremely challenging. Never advise anyone to do it. I'm not going to have a second chance at this, but yeah, thank God for technology. Thank God but beyond that, there's so much that technology can help you with when it comes to long distance marriage. When it comes to communications, I'm glad I still have a marriage. I mean, and yeah, big ups to my wife, but it's been really, really challenging. I won't do it again.
So this is someone that won't do it, and Yomi will do it. Celia, you did it before OG relocated to the UK.
Yeah.
How did that work? Because then we didn't have this much technology.
No. We didn't. So the difference between mine and I think for Damola and Yomi's is that the luck I had is that Oji was in Germany now, you see. So all you need to do, get a cheap flight for 25, 50 pounds, and bam, in 2 hours you're there, right? You can be finishing work and you've got your bags packed, which I did a lot of times. And my bags packed off to City Airport, and before you know it, I'm in Dusseldorf, okay? But unfortunately, you guys don't have that luxury because I believe your partners are both in Nigeria, so you have to plan that. And it's not just about planning. Or Damola, your partner is in the UK, and Yomi, your partner is in Nigeria. So number one, the tickets are very expensive. Okay, well, not anymore. But number one, the tickets are very expensive. Number two,
it's still expensive.
Exactly. And then you also have to think about spending money to spend. We all know how it is when you go to Nigeria, okay? So whereas for me, I didn't have none of that. All I needed, in short, I didn't even buy my ticket. Okay, so all I needed to do was just have the ticket details and be able to get to the airport on time to catch the flight. So again, in terms of technology, yes, there was not a lot of all this WhatsApp, video call, and all. What we had then was Yahoo Messenger. And this was not even like a long time ago. This was just 2009. But it sounds ancient, right? It is. This was only 2009. And so, yeah, we were able to do that. And again, as Yomi said, the commitment. He was also committed to coming as well. Okay, I can be going this weekend and he'll be coming the next weekend. That was how it was. So I was always in Germany. He was always in the UK. And yeah, that was how we made it work until we got married. And then he moved to the UK eventually.
Okay, so we've seen smooth, not so smooth, or smooth and not too smooth. So I'm going to drive gears a bit. Oji was in Germany before he relocated. Yomi's husband was in Nigeria, and Damola's wife is here in the UK. Intimacy, you know, with long distance relationship, you can't see each other, you can't feel each other, you can't touch each other. How have you guys coped? Because this is where we now talk the area of, because Yomi mentioned something around trust. The person that you have your vows to, the person that you're married, or the person that you're committed to is nowhere near where you are. You're like 2 million miles apart. So Yomi, how have you coped? Because 2007, or in 2020 now, like 13 years, if my math is correct.
That is a very personal question, but I'm gonna try my best. I suppose, you know, with me, I'm gonna speak for myself. You just keep yourself busy. I work full time, have 3 kids to look after, and that is the last thing on my mind. And if I do feel like it, you know, there are things around to, you know, to help you out, and, you know, but it depends on the individual. But with me, I'm busy, very busy. So I don't even think about it.
But when you do think about it, there are things that you do.
If you want to say that.
You know, can I just say something? Yomi has been married for 13 years and her husband is not in the country, but she's managed to have 3 kids, you know?
Yeah.
So she's been busy.
And the last one was only about 2-3 years ago. So, hey.
Yeah.
When Yomi went on annual leave, I was supposed to come back before we knew it. We saw some pictures and boom, Yomi was pregnant. Celia, how did yours work? And then I'll go to Damola.
Well, as I said, right? Okay, so with mine, there wasn't WhatsApp instant message or whatnot. So it was Yahoo Messenger or MSN. Okay. So and it wasn't as if and you know what? Oh God help me. At that time I was in the choir as well. So it was also, and in my mind I'm just like, oh my God, what is this? You know, oh my God, this is such a sin. Father, forgive me. But see, listen. Yeah, what's that saying that when they say the flesh is weak and the spirit is strong? I don't know how they say that thing. Yeah,
but your flesh was weak anyway.
Do you understand? So it was a matter of doing and praying for forgiveness. But then you're thinking, oh my God, tomorrow I'm going to repeat the same offense. So it was very difficult, and I had to keep saying, okay, you know. And then another thing was, there were no sex toys then. I mean, now we know we have Mr. Rabbit, we have this and we have that. there was no such thing as sex toys. Sex what? You know, so all you had was just your imagination, at the end of the day, it was difficult, but we made it happen. And don't forget, with my relationship, he was always here. Okay, so it's either I'm there or he's here. And okay, yes, we did have telephone sex, but it wasn't that often because we always kind of saw each other. In a month, we could see each other at least twice or 3 times in a month. Okay, so we were able to manage like that.
I'm allowed to put you on the spot. The last time you probably saw your wife was when?
Oh God, it was.
So how have you guys coped? Because I know it's not easy. You're like around temptation because you're in Nigeria now, for instance. And you know, there'll be some skimpy girls with skimpy outfits.
For
you know,
free.
I was seeing something on social media yesterday, myself and Celia, and you know, there was this Mama Lawo on Instagram that is doing packages. And they're saying once you get the package, you have to use it on either Femi or Lawa. If you have package, you can imagine 5 girls doing package on one Femi or one Lawa. That head will blow. Damola, how have you coped? How?
Wow. So yeah, good. So that's a good question. So I'll tell you, my case is a bit unique in the sense that I have learned to distract myself with work. So most of the time, and yeah, you know that. Okay, and so this comes from what my father told me when I was a lot younger, and he said something about, when you, as a man, we like to go after things. So when you conquer one territory, you move to the other thing, to the other task. And so when I got married, I told myself, you know what, instead of getting involved with a lot of people and a lot of things, I'd rather get involved in my work. And yes, I do a lot of jobs, personal 9 to 5, and then a lot of things on the side. It's been an advantage and disadvantage at the same time. Disadvantage in the sense that my wife now thinks that I really don't make time for any other thing but work. But the truth is this: when I'm engaged, I have less time to think about things, crazy things, or going around. And yes, this is Lagos. There's a lot of temptation. A lot of people are there calling you and doing a lot of things. Another thing I've also done is I have tried not to keep a lot of friends. So I have very few friends. So I mean, there's no room for me getting involved with, guys that will just sway you and get you to do crazy things. I must say it's been extremely difficult. I mean, there are moments that you really just want to have your partner next to you and then get things done and everything, but what do I do? And the other part is this: my wife will call me literally anytime, and then the times that she's up mad at me and everything, I call and, literally, where's the time to do anything? I hold myself accountable to a lot of things. I have friends, I have family. My sister can actually up into my house anytime, Basically, I just get myself engaged. And that is not a solution. I won't say anybody should do this because it might work for you differently. For me, it's just me surviving every moment. Basically, we work. So I just distract myself all of the time. So far, so good.
Okay. So work seems to be the go-to that everyone seems to be going for. Are we playing it safe because I'm actually Damala's sister-in-law, kinda?
Okay, so wait, Damola, can I ask you a few questions? So obviously,
yes,
when was the last time you saw your wife?
That was late last year.
Okay, so I mean, we're on Trash It All, and we trash everything and we bear it all here. So are you telling me that, I mean, it's not that it's not possible, but I just want to hear from you. Are you saying that those times when you really feel like having sex with your wife and she's not there, then what do you do? Obviously, I'm not trying to insinuate that you would do. Do you then masturbate? How do you get rid of all that sperm production? And how do you sort of satisfy yourself?
So that's a very personal question, and
I know.
I'm trying to weigh the risk right now, answering this question and getting shot in the head by my wife.
Mm-hmm.
So how do I pacify myself? Literally, I do nothing. That's it.
Right. Okay.
Again, I'll tell you, it works differently. And when I work hard, when I work extremely hard, I get too tired. And once I get home, I log off. In fact, it's becoming a pain to my wife in the sense that even when we need to meet and talk about stuff, we can be talking and then you just see me doze off. I'm off. I'm out. Yes, there are other ways around these things, which, I'm not at liberty to discuss on trash yet,
Okay.
But my wife and I have had a bit of discussion around it. But, yeah, I've just, like I said, it's been survival for me.
So can you, so are you saying, okay, so would you say, for example, you and your wife can have telephone sex? Is that something you would do?
Absolutely, if she's open to it. I mean, this is there of us.
No, it's not. It's not a matter of if she's open to it, because this is something that probably would have had to happen already. I mean, you haven't seen her since last year, so
I said that. I said that I'm not able to discuss a lot of things. there's a risk of getting shot in the head, you know. But again, yeah, a couple of things we've done, and it has worked. Sometimes I find it very silly,
Very
but
silly.
sometimes
Okay.
it's worked. Yeah, I just feel like, come on, what is this? Like, we're just fooling around. Like, it works differently for everybody. I just feel like, nah, this is not my thing and everything. But then, most times I just wait for, you know what, I can't wait for my next trip. And I'll tell you, over the years, there was a time I think I did an audit of how much we spent on traveling for time, and it was huge. And that's because sometimes, you know, you just have to make that trip to go and help yourself for a while, and then there's a bit of mental conditioning which, you know, that, you know what, once you're done this quarter, dude, man, you're not getting anything until the next time you guys see. So I mean, so the
You put
moments
the
that,
extra
of course,
work in.
absolutely, I put the extra work in, I get myself distracted, and every chance I got to go to travel, I'm there.
So would you say, have you, since you guys are really like apart, she's in a different country, so have you guys spoken or considered doing a sex tape where you can?
Sorry, say that again.
Have you guys considered doing a sex tape for the both of you, just in case you need to refer to it later?
Nah, not at all. And I'll tell you why. I work in digital space and I understand how these things work. And I am up for keeping my wife's, you know, what's the word now? I would not do that kind of thing. What if your video gets out? What if something happens?
Yeah.
You know, people are quite careless with devices and
Absolutely.
stuff. So you have it on your phone. Of course, you're not sharing with anybody. But imagine that you want to sell your phone or you give somebody your phone and you think what you've deleted actually gets deleted.
It's in the
Actually not
cloud
deleted.
somewhere.
We can always find this thing. So I actually
Yeah.
don't want a case whereby that kind of thing will make its way to any other site, and then I'm there trying to defend my wife that, oh, you know, nah, I don't want that.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, I don't want that. But again, there are other things that we do. I mean, there are times that we call, you know, early hours of morning, and then, you know, sometimes all you have to do is let your eyes do the feeding and everything, and, you know, you just get a little bit of, you know.
So you make
Okay.
it work.
Honestly, it's difficult. It is.
Yeah.
I must tell you, it is extremely difficult. And I'll say it again. Pay me $1 million. I would never want to put myself in this situation again. Ever. Never, ever. I would never, ever want to put myself in that situation. But again, it is what it is. And the distance actually makes me long for the time I have to be with my family. Initially, it's always been about, you know what, let's put these things in place and that in place. But I'm at the point right now that I know that, dude, I can't do this anymore. Like, I'm literally running crazy. I can't do this anymore. So, yes, let's just put, you know, the next steps, put them in place, and then let's get together. And that's it.
Okay, let me come in for 2 seconds. You know, Yomi, Celia, and Damala, you guys have lived this. I haven't. Because the thing about it is, if I have an issue with my husband, tops 2 hours, tops, we would have made up in one way or the other. How do you then manage conflicts? Because obviously, you're not seeing the person you're having a fight with. What happens? How do you guys resolve issues? Because once that person doesn't pick up your phone, that's the end of communication. You can't resolve anything if that person is not talking to you. So how do you then huddle? How do you go over this huddle? I'll go to you, Yomi, first.
Like I said previously, you know, this is about, you know, commitments. You know, and commitment involves a lot of communication. So if you're having issues, of course you will have issues because you're living a separate life. You know, so if there's any issue, you have to trash it out. The difference is you don't wait 2 hours later. You trash it out there, right there and then. You don't wait till later because things might get out of hand. And that has always worked for me.
Mm-hmm. Even if you're not in the wrong. So you make allowances.
We both discuss it. Who's in the wrong, apologize, you know, whatever. And, you know, just end it from there. But I wouldn't wait 2 hours later because that would drive me crazy.
Okay. Damala?
So this is what I was looking forward to. Resolving conflicts has been quite it's been quite interesting. So my wife is, so yeah, there's a new nickname now, the Hedgehog, and me, I'm the Rhino. And in marriage, I've learned something very important. As a man, man, you can never win. So however it is you want to do it, yeah. If you like, go and jump and hit your head on the floor. You cannot win. If you want peace and if you're committed to your marriage, at some point you have to be the bigger person. You have to commit to making issues work when honestly you're running crazy in your head. Sometimes I've also learned that I like to deal with issues when it happens, so we can move past it. But my wife sometimes doesn't want to talk about it, and when it happens, she just like withdraws and that's it. She doesn't want to talk, and that can go on for a while. And I am actually really running crazy because I need to talk to her, you know. But eventually, I always find, so there are channels I used to get to her, family channels. I try literally everything. When I know that my stuff is not working, then I have to go through our own family, because I would never at any point get a report out to my own family. It's just something that, you know, I learned from my parents too. So when you have issues, just, you know how to, just find somebody that she actually listens to, and then get her to see your viewpoint or to resolve issues. But honestly, conflict resolution has been difficult. But again, I have learned that, dude, Dama, you cannot have your way all the time. So even when I don't feel sorry, for the sake of peace and for the sake of, because honestly, you know, I talked about working hard, as in working all the time and working through things. I'll tell you for a fact that, So I'll tell you for a fact, when issues happen and when conflict, I really cannot do anything. Like, I'm literally I'm useless. Office work, anything, I can't do anything.
Yeah.
You know, so then I have to call her again and, you know, just to find peace with her, because I noticed that when we're at peace, a lot of things work better for me. But when we're in conflict, it's just, I don't do anything reasonable. I could go all day, all week not doing anything. So I just have to find ways around it. But then she's a type of way, and I've come to understand how she is. And I just find ways to get across to her and try and resolve the issues as much as I can.
I suppose the difference between myself and Damola is I'm the female here, and I'm ready to settle the situation straight away. I don't like conflict, and I can't have it hanging onto my head, because it would drive me crazy. So that is the difference, and that makes a lot of difference in terms of conflicts resolution and stuff like that. So yeah, it's been manageable, not too bad.
Celia, I know you're the rhino.
Oh,
so
you see, so
Celia, I know Celia very well. She's the rhino. Conflict resolution. How did you resolve?
I'm not the rhino. As Damola said, I don't like stress. Okay, anything that gives me stress, I try to remove myself from that situation. And unfortunately, it could also include that relationship. Yeah. And when we were dating, my husband was the kind of person that when you have an argument, he kind of comes from a line of family where they like to win arguments. Do you understand? So I won that argument, you apologize. Yes. Do you understand? And I'm not that kind of person at all. I want to trash it, put it to bed. As Yomi said, I don't like it hanging over me, because number one, it distracts me, so I can't concentrate, right? I can't work. I can't function properly. And I end up doing a lot of cleaning when I'm angry. You know, so at the end of the day,
I explain why your house is spotless.
Well, so at the end, thank you very much, Yuri. I caught that shade. At the end of the day, when anything happens, because he's in Germany and I'm in the UK, we find it difficult to say, because he will not answer the phone. He will not answer the phone. So I have no other means of getting through to him. His line is nothing. He won't answer it. So I just have to chill and wait until he answers it, right? And then when he eventually relocated to the UK and we started living together, he tried that, okay? And somebody said, when you don't settle things, it starts to fester, right? And I don't mind is a devil's workshop, okay?
Yep.
So whenever we had an argument, when we started living together, we'll be in the same house, but he wouldn't talk to me. I'll cook and he won't eat. And I'm like, okay, listen, right? I ain't got time for that. Now, let me tell you something. I don't like conflict and I don't like stress. If we're living in the same house and you're not going to speak to me, you're not going to eat my food, then no, I'm not interested. This is not the kind of marriage that I want. So right now, my brain is trying to find an alternative to resolve this situation. And unfortunately, if those kind of situations are not resolved on time, the alternative would be for you to just say, you know what, let's pack it up, I'm done. And you know, the first 2 years in a marriage is the one that really counts whether or not that marriage is going to last. So how did I get over that? I had to sit him down and I had to say to him, listen, when you do this and you don't talk to me, I don't care whether you eat the food or not, because that's on you. But when we can't communicate and we can't talk about it, we have a child at home. I don't like arguing when the child is listening, okay? So my mind is thinking what else, how to get out of this situation. And unfortunately, how to get out of this situation might be get out of the marriage. So you need to stop, when you're angry, yes, you can be angry for a few hours, have your time, but make sure on that same day we sort out that issue. And he understood where I was coming from. And I can categorically say, touch wood, till today, whenever we have an argument, he's angry for a few hours, and after that we talk about it and we end it. I'm very good at apologizing because I don't believe it takes anything away from me. And obviously, because we're now living together, there are other ways that you can apologize. You know what I mean? I don't need to spend.
I know you're very apologetic.
Exactly, very apologetic in the way you dress and things like that, lingerie and all of that. So yeah, you apologize. That's how it works for us.
Interestingly, it'd be nice to see Celia's bill, because with this shopping, she can't shop because she's got apology behind the shopping. Now, Celia, you touched on something about children. I don't know if you had a deal before Oji moved to England.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so raising a deal, because obviously you have to put boundaries in place, you have to put structure in place, but he's not here. But when he comes, he's as if he's spoiling a deal, because you're saying this is how we're doing things, just to make sure that he's moral bound, he's able to do things. But daddy is trying to be like, well, I'm not here, let me be nicer in the way I do things. Do you think that affects how you raise children in a long distance relationship?
Absolutely. So when I relocated back from Germany, because when we got married, we lived apart, and then I got pregnant, and then I went to Germany to stay throughout my maternity leave. I was in Germany for nearly a year, and I came back to the UK when Adil was about 10 months plus. Now, when we got to the UK, it was just me and Adil. So we had a routine: wake up in the morning, shower, breakfast, nursery for Adil, work for me, and then after work, pick him up, home, shower, dinner, telly, and then bed. But when my husband will come to visit, he will change that routine, right? So he will say things like, no, I want to spend time with Adil. You don't need to take him to the nursery. Even when he moved here permanently, the same thing would happen. I had that routine that I wanted to follow through. But he would say, no, I want to spend time with my son. They're only young ones. So for me, that messed up the routine. And I found that I couldn't really emphasize that, no, we needed to keep the routine. So we were paying nursery fees sometimes for a month. Adil won't go to nursery because dad will want to spend time with Adil at home. So yeah, it does mess up the routine. But again, you have to be a bit, compromise and say, okay, well, it's not proper school yet. He was not in reception or year one. It's just nursery. Okay, let him have that. But obviously, when he's in reception, year one, when proper school starts, then he knows that becomes illegal. So yeah, routines are messed up, but you have to just sort of compromise.
Yeah, I mean, yours is very interesting because you've got you actually got two teenagers and then a toddler. So you've practically raised these children on your own, so to say, with day-to-day basis. But when they're with dad tends to make an allowance, I would guess. How have you managed that? Because you have to make a decision when the dad is not there and necessarily not consult him at times. Can you shed light on that?
I do tend to do a lot of consultation with him before decisions are made. But it tends to be my decision most times. And it's worked. So luckily for me, it's worked. I didn't have to worry about changing of routines or anything like that, because whenever we get to see him, we are out of the country. So we don't have a routine.
Yeah.
So so that makes it easier for us. But yeah, it's interesting.
So you've been at times with the dad and the mom, but obviously dad is in the picture.
You just need that, second opinion, just to make sure that what your opinion is the right opinion, really. But sometimes, even if it tries to convince me otherwise, I've made up my mind anyway. So
it's your decision. Okay. That's what I'm hearing at Celia and Yomi. The fathers are very much in the picture. You are in your son's life, but the decision are ultimately theirs. Where do you then come in?
See, I'm actually learning a lot from you people. You're years ahead of us in marriage, and in terms of decision, we tend to make we tend to take decisions together. But also there are times that things happen and my wife's got to take decisions and I get to know about it later. Maybe I'm not happy with it, but then I understand the situation, and in the sense that sometimes she just needs to act, and make things happen like that. And then maybe, it makes me feel like an afterthought, but then it is what it is. I understand the kind of marriage I'm in right now, and the fact that I'm not there in person. So if that's the situation, I have to just accept it. Again, like I said, well, I haven't said that before, but I mean, marriage is about making compromises and then understanding, to be understanding and then communicating properly. You know, the former me will get. I mean, there was an incident recently that something happened, and then I think I got to know about it later, and I was really fuming like, hey, why won't you tell me these things and everything? Like I was really fuming, but then I thought about it like, dude, so what would your anger get you now? I mean, at the end of the day, she got upset and everything. I have to find a way around it just to make her feel, okay, you know what, I'm sorry about, going off for you and that kind of thing. And then we resolved it. At the end of the day, I'm just in Nigeria. She's over there. If I get her more upset and then she shuts down, I get to lose.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to be away from my child. I want to be in his life. I want to know exactly everything that is going on with him every single time. So for me to win the battle, I have to lose some and then win that other one. Again, make compromises.
Do you think you're being held to ransom simply because you're not there?
Yeah, it feels kind of that way, okay? Kind of, that's the word, again, I don't want to be shot in the head after this whole session, but it feels like, but hey, it's just a matter of time. I think we'll be fine eventually. But right now, it feels like, I'm being held.
Okay. Yummy. Decision. If, and nothing is ever going to happen to all of our marriages, but if you were ever given the position to do this again, long distance relationship, yes or no?
No.
Despite the fact that you've made it work?
Yeah, no. There's been a lot of bumpy roads, I wouldn't do it again. I wouldn't advise anyone to do it, but obviously it is what it is. So, we just made the situation work for us, but it's not ideal. It's not ideal.
Celia, you've enjoyed your time, even from Germany to England, back to Germany, and now everybody's settled here. What's wrong with long distance relationship? Yes or no?
I don't see anything wrong with it. I'll do it again.
It makes you have space.
It makes you have space, because me, I like my own space. It makes you have space, and not just that. It has its own kind of spice that it puts in the relationship, because you're excited you're going to see him. He's excited he's going to see you, and you guys are just all excited together. And then when you eventually see each other, it's like boom. It's really, I enjoyed every bit of it, and I will do it. But imagine I was married and I have a child or two, and I'm having to deal with that on my own, and maybe he's still in that wherever country he's in. Then maybe I might start thinking, no, I really need him here. But I think he has his advantages and disadvantages. As long as we see at least once a month, twice a month. I don't know, because I'm not in it, so I can't really say, because Yomi and Damola, you guys are in it. I was in it when we were dating, so it was okay. But now that I'm married, I'm happy I have my husband here, because trust me, I don't know if I'll be able to manage if he wasn't.
Celia is a different situation with Celia, because Celia was able to pack her bags every Fridays. I remember. And she would up on the train or the plane, whichever way. Off she goes. So it's more or less like, they're still seeing each other on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's a different scenario altogether. So you can't compare that to when the wife or the husband is in a different country entirely, in another, continent.
Yeah.
So it's a different experience. So I can understand where Celia is coming from.
Damola, time zone was not your best friend, especially when the time changed. So do you think you would continue this way, or would you ever try it again?
Okay, so it's a no. It's a straight no for me. But then I'd like to tell people that are into it, or people that find themselves in such situations, that actually it's not a death sentence. Technically, it's not, because if you think about it, like Celia said, actually sometimes I enjoy my space. I enjoy being alone sometimes. Sometimes, but not all of the time.
Yeah.
But eventually, when we had a child, a lot of things has changed. I don't think I even want my space anymore. I remember they were in the country for like I think over up to 7 months, and that was late last year. And would you believe that ever since they've left, I don't think I've slept in that room again, because every time I get into that room, I just feel like, oh, they're supposed to be in there with me. Like there's this mental side to it. I just really don't want to be in that room anymore. So I sleep in the guest room. That's my new room right now, and that's where I stay. I've moved my stuff there. That's where I live. Yes, I love my space. I really don't like, having a lot of people around all the time. But do I want to have my family around? Yes. Do I want to be in this situation going forward? No. Why would I want? I don't want it. It's been loads of headache. It's been loads of issues. Conflict management is something else. Sometimes I don't even feel like I get a lot of things resolved. But for the sake of peace, you just have to swallow it and be a bigger person and apologize instead of trashing things out deeply. So I mean, I think the negatives actually outweighs the positives. So for me, hell no, nah.
Okay. All right. I think we're going to leave it there because obviously we try to cover as much as we can from our resident long distance relationship expert, and then Celia have a distance relationship expert. So we're going to leave it there. At least you've shed some light for anybody who's in a long distance relationship. They've seen the positive. It's worked, and I assume it's still working because obviously you guys are still in your relationship. And I hope things work out for you in all your marriages. So until next week, but on Saturday when this premieres, Damola, Yomi will join myself and Celia in the chat room when we go live. Obviously, you would have questions for anyone that is going into a long distance relationship or something we've not covered that you want to check with these guys. Use them. I always say all the guests are coming. They come with their wealth of experience. Use them. And once again, Damola and Yomi, thank you so much for coming on the show. We really appreciate you. Celia, my love. Love you, love you, love you. And I know why your bill and OG's bill is expensive now with all your shopping. So until next week. Guys, it was fun doing this. Thank you so much for coming. All the best. Love you guys.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.